hands, and then we'll.
Whoa.
The Liars Club.
All right. 5.
Hi, everybody, and welcome to the Liars Club. I'm Felicia Michaels.
And I'm Jessica Wellington.
And for you first-timers, what we do here at the Liars Club is we have some of our comedy pals come on. We ask them to tell 2 stories. One is the truth, one is a lie. Jessica and I and the people playing along on YouTube at the Comedy Store will try to ask questions and punch holes into the stories to see which one is a lie. Am I correct, Jessica?
You're right on.
I would like to, first of all, give my complete thanks to Austin Walker here, our on-air producer. Yes, and Michael Evans, our other on-air producer behind the camera right there. And then Jessica, what do you want to say?
We're getting cheesier and cheesier, and I love it. Okay, so I want to introduce our guests, if that's okay.
Please do.
Okay, I would love to. To my left, this gentleman right here. He's been on Showtime, HBO. He has a movie coming out next year called Spare Parts. He has a podcast called The Safe Word, and he has a special coming out on October 30th called Sven, which means pig. Jason Rouse.
Welcome, Jason Rouse,
Thank you.
everybody. Yay.
Thank you.
Yay, yay.
Thank you for coming. And then over across from him, this is a single father of 3. That's why it's so hard to get him here.
Yeah, it really is.
Trust me, I've tried several times.
3.
He also, in 2017, co-starred in Chingo Bling's They Can't Deport Us All on Netflix. He's been on Laughs, Bite Size TV. But then he also has his own special just premiered on HBO, and it's called It's Not My Weekend. This is Jerry Garcia.
What's up? Thank you for having me.
Thank you for joining us,
Thank
Jerry
you.
Garcia. Thank you. Yay.
Yes.
Well. Have you guys thought about your stories?
Yeah, it's more of like a post-traumatic flashback. But I feel that, anyway, yeah.
Do you
Okay.
know what you got yourself into when you invited Jason?
I'm glad you recognize.
I know.
Is he
Okay,
going to
I'm
be
fine with
Jamar Neighbors like, is what we're saying?
He'll be a little
and
bit more
ripped.
coherent.
No, oh God, no, that's
Because I'm far from that.
no, because Jamar was. I never laughed so hard in my entire life, other than that episode. I was crying tears. It was so funny, but not usable.
Really?
Because he was just basically picked apart physically the studio. It was when I laughed so hard. It was awesome. It was awesome. You guys can go look at that episode if
So
you
it
want
had
on the
nothing to
live
do with
feed.
the blue content at all? Or
Oh no, nothing like that. No, you
gave
can
me
say
the
what you
finger
want.
before the show started.
Right,
Yeah, yeah.
right.
Everybody got the
But
finger.
you take blue material and then take it to another level.
I make it black.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm familiar with Jason's work, man. I walked in here, I'm like, oh, it's gonna be that kind of party.
Yeah.
So guess my kid's first day of school story is not gonna be the
No, but by the
the
way,
liar or the truth.
sometimes the cleanest, simplest stories, because
The
it's a
ones that- yeah.
game, actually work the best sometimes. So,
Yeah.
and we love all kinds of stories. I
Sure.
know people are now like, I don't know, I don't have anything that crazy to say. It's like, no,
You don't
any
have to.
story
Yeah, it
works.
doesn't matter.
Any
I-
story
I-
works.
I-
And for you guys playing along, remember to leave your comments, your questions in the reply section on YouTube, and Austin Walker here will relay them to us.
What's up, Ken and Melody?
All right,
Over
already
here
on.
already.
Yeah.
Already on. Awesome. So let's start off, and okay, Jerry.
Oh, we're getting right into it.
Yes,
Like, there's no
let's do it.
foreplay or nothing
No,
involved.
no,
It
let's
sounds
do
like
it.
it'll be like an hour show. And
Everybody
we end
got
with
the
a
banger.
You'll see. It'll be over an
All right.
hour.
Bend over.
So you,
Yeah.
That's not foreplay. That's customs.
By the way, anything said on this podcast should not be a reflection on the Comedy Store,
Oh,
since
we're-
my co-host just said
Oh,
bend
we
over.
must say that, please.
I feel a little more relaxed now.
Okay, yeah. Say what you got to say.
Are we going on?
Yeah. Let's
All
do
right,
it.
cool. Well, I'd like to start with the story of the time I got knocked out for using the N-word. Yeah, I got
Again?
punched in the face
Again?
and I deserved it. I was driving with my friend from we were at a bar, and my friend is African American, one of my best friends, Trinell, good friend, and we're hanging out all night. And him and I go way back. We're over 10 years friendship, and the N-word will slip off with me and him often, and he gives me the pass when him and I are around, and we're obviously hanging out, drinking, having a good time, and I got really wasted that night, very wasted. In fact, I was driving and I couldn't drive, so he had to drive for me. And so now I'm in the passenger seat, passed out. After a long night of drinking, we pull over. I had to yak it up, and I asked him, please, pull over. And we finally pulled over into a gas station, Shell station. Got out of
you
gas.
remember specifically that it was a
Well,
Shell,
nah,
even
I
though
mean,
you were
obviously,
passed out.
I was passed out. I was
and you
completely
woke up
passed
like,
out.
oh, we're at a Shell.
Not necessarily, but that's what I'm told later. Obviously,
Easy there,
okay?
Judge Whopper.
Easy.
I know.
All right.
Coming in hot.
So I get off. Run to the fucking to the pump and where there's a trash can, and I start yakking it up. And from what I hear a guy say, "Are you all right?" And at the time, I thought it was my best friend. So I'm like, "What do you think, nigga?" Of course I'm all right. I'm not. What do you think? And I tell him the N-word, right? And I'm like, "Of course I'm not, nigga. Come on, I'm not." And as I'm yakking with my face slumped into the trash, and that guy's like, "What would you say? What'd you call me?" I'm like, "You heard me," and because again, I thought it was my friend. So as soon as I get up, as soon as I get my head up off the trash, I just get a fucking punch straight to the face, knocks me out, fall to the ground. This time my friend is still in the car. He was on the phone. He gets out like, "Whoa, whoa, whoa, what's going on?" And he's like, "Yo, that's my friend." He goes, "Oh, this guy just called me the N-word," knocked his ass out. I'm on the floor. My nose is busted.
Where were
And,
you? What city?
Honestly, that I cannot recall.
Oh, but you remember it's a shell.
I know it was
Okay,
a yellow
all right.
fucking gas station, Jessica. We were by the beach. Maybe Santa Monica.
Okay.
Okay, but we were by the beach, and it was a summer night. It was very warm. And, so this guy just knocked me the fuck out after him hearing me call him the N-word a few times. And I came to. My friend has like a rag on my face. I'm bleeding. I'm like, "What the fuck happened? What happened?" He's laughing. He's like, "Yo, you just
your
got..."
friend that hit you?
No, I didn't know it was my friend who hit me. I did like kind of recognize the
Are you telling me
guy
all
before
black
he.
people look the same
Well, all black people sound the same is what I learned that night. Fun fact.
when they're angry.
Yes. And my friend is laughing, and the guy who knocked me out is still there. Much more calm now. And my friend, I guess, spoke to him and saying, "Yo, he's cool. He's just drunk. You know, we're homies. He uses that word once in a while." And he's like, "Well, he shouldn't be just throwing it around like that. And I'm sorry. I had to knock. I did what I did, and he got knocked the fuck out. And the guy who knocked me out actually helped me get up and put me back in my car. Had like his rag on my face. I'm bleeding from my nose, and I'm feeling bad for what happened as well. As I come to, I'm like, fuck, I should never said that. This is my fault as well. Kind of deserved it. We're all started kind of laughing about it as we're driving home later that night.
So that guy got in the car with you?
No, he was in
you
his
and
own
your
car.
friend were laughing about
I
it.
Yeah, my
like
friend and I were
that
laughing
Jessica warned us about Jason, but
I
not
know.
you
Yeah.
on the
You guys throwing
podcast.
N-bombs around.
Yeah,
I
yeah, pretty much.
know. And it's like sometimes it's the N-word, sometimes you actually say the word.
He did come in saying that he was hungover. Was this last night? That
No,
this
heaven my
happened?
wish, right?
Okay.
No, this was a few years ago.
Okay.
A few years ago.
So
Um,
I guess Latinos don't get a pass.
Not always. I mean, I was getting a pass up until then. Because all night I was using it with my friend.
Pass
I mean, come on.
revoked.
I use it casually,
Yeah.
as a form of embracement to my homie and shit. We were roommates. We were actually living together at the time. So, I mean, we're BFFs, dog. So, I was very loosely using it a little too much, I guess. And
Yeah.
honestly, from what I do remember thinking it was him asking me if I was okay and him making basically fun of the fact that I wasn't okay.
Can I ask you
So
a
I reacted with
question?
what do you think, nigga?
Yeah.
Right, but we can now say the N-word if you don't mind, Jerry.
Oh, we're
Yeah,
recording.
Yeah, I mean,
sorry.
we are going live, and it
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
comedy store, which is a business. And like I said, nothing said here is a reflection of the comedy
I was
store.
saying
Well,
that
I like what we're doing.
N-I-G-G-Y, by the
Yeah,
way.
okay.
N-I-G-G-Y.
But did now when he would try to like bond with you, did your friend call you racist terms?
Yeah. Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah,
What
yeah.
were those?
Oh, like wetback and paisa and shit like
Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry,
All right.
It's all terms of endearment.
Okay, I just wanted to,
Yeah.
point that out.
I'm a white guy from Canada.
Mm-hmm.
What's paisa?
Paisa is just a Spanish slang for Mexican.
But it's
Paisa is like a
Well, for
super Mexican. Like a paisa is a Mexican who literally just crossed over.
okay, and that's kind of a slanderous thing to say.
It's like slang. Yeah, slang.
What
Okay.
is it's like?
I know
What do you?
slanderous,
Paisa is
like-
like I
it-
would think it's a Spanish term for wetback almost.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's not looked upon nicely.
Not everyone
call
takes it on
slang.
nicely, no.
Yeah.
Because some people don't like to be called a paisa. Because a paisa is literally a person who can't speak English.
Yeah, off the
That's a
boat.
paisa.
Yeah.
Oh, that fool's paisa, dog. That fool can't. He's barely just getting adjusted here.
Right.
Wow, you
I'm
just
a paisa.
Yeah, from Canada.
I'm
you
a
just taught
refugee.
4 white people another racist slur.
Thank you. Let me get my book out.
It's not the worst. It's just
I'll
it's
handle
not bad.
it from
But
here. I
go
got
ahead.
it.
You get like a 7-day trial with it.
Let me
I'm
take it
just
for
saying.
a run. And see
Yeah.
how it works.
Yeah.
All
Okay.
right. That is a kick-ass first story. I mean, frightening in its own way. And how badly injured were you when he punched you out?
I
You're
was
a
my
little
nose
guy.
is my nose is not broken. He hit me between my nose and my cheek. like
Uh-huh.
right here.
Uh-huh.
My nose was bleeding,
Uh-huh.
but it wasn't broken. I was just
Yeah.
sore the next day, just a little sore. We literally left it out the next day, and it was
Did
like,
you get a
"Dog,
black
I kinda-"
eye?
No, not a black eye. It was a lower temp here.
Okay.
This side of that
Oh,
face.
wow.
What is that called right here?
Your cheek?
Cheekbone.
Yeah, cheekbone.
Yeah.
Underneath cheekbone.
Yeah.
This is the orbital. Is this it in the middle?
Yeah, but I do
That's
remember that.
bad.
I remember that fist just coming straight at me.
Big
Right.
dude.
And it was a little too shaded. No, not that big. You know,
He's black, so
6
he's
feet,
probably in
yeah.
shape at least.
tops.
He knew what he was doing.
Yeah. You know,
Yeah. Wow. Do you have any
he provided
questions,
first aid
Jessica?
care too. That guy who knocked me out provided first
Hey,
aid
Oh,
care.
he did?
Yeah,
He
he's the one
did?
that brought the rag.
Oh, okay.
He's brought the one. And
Okay.
he just like said he shouldn't be saying that. Cause my friend was
First
like,
aid
bro,
care.
bro, he's my friend. We good.
Yeah,
He's
yeah.
drunk. You know, he didn't mean it. He's like, dog, he just shouldn't be saying. I just remember him saying he shouldn't be saying that. He shouldn't be saying
That-
that.
Well, I
But-
will say I agree with the gentleman. I
course.
personally,
I do
don't
too.
think that I've ever
It was a
said
girl
the
that hit him.
N-word. And I can
Never.
say that. I mean, I mean it. Like, I don't think I've ever said it. I just don't think there's ever been a need for me to say it.
yeah.
You are correct.
Hang on, my-
There's been no situation where I
Yeah.
thought
Now that if there was a need for it, would you say it?
a need. What would that?
What-
would
what
have-
would
would
the
that
need
be?
Well, that's what I'm asking you. You said there's
If
never
you
been a
own
need for
if
it.
you owned a plantation.
Yeah.
If a guy,
Oh, I see your game now, Jerry. I see.
what if a guy you were sleeping with liked to be
Called that.
degraded like that?
I still honestly
Yeah,
don't think
why
I could
would
do
you
it.
want to have sex with a guy that wants
Don't ask
want
me.
that?
Ask Jessica. She's the one having
yeah.
sex with guys
Role-playing.
like that.
Yeah.
I don't
Well, there's
honestly
better
wanna-
roles.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
I'll be the bathroom attendant.
And
I'd
by
rather
the-
play that role.
Yeah, right.
I
Ugh.
don't know anything.
Anything true.
Comatose burn
I
victim.
well, we did learn a new racist slur, and we learned that giving a rag is giving medical attention. And
Yes.
I feel better about my mothering now that I
They
know
wet-
that
they wet-
information.
he wet the rag and he was like very gently and
Oh.
put it on my face and he just kept saying, "You should not be saying that, bro. You should not be saying that." And he just kind of put it on my
well, that's
face.
Yeah, and you still said it today.
Again, not.
Let's bring him in.
Yeah. Roll the tape.
This is your life.
He's actually here today.
With a boxing glove on one hand.
All right, Michael, do you have any questions?
I don't know that I do. I mean, because usually we try to pull out something that's unbelievable about the story based on his character and what we know. But I mean, he was pretty down to say the word a bunch of times here. I don't doubt that he said it drunk at the Shell station either. It seems like a
Yeah.
pretty legit story.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
And I
very
almost
true
believe
point.
that if it was Santa Monica, Shell is kind of a more uppity class gas station.
As we relive the story, the night Shell station comes to.
Look,
He
Sometimes-
calls. My friend calls it that we're at a Shell. My friend loves to share the story. Trinell loves to share the story everywhere we go.
That's
he likes
not
to
your
tell
friend
people.
anymore.
And he's like, "Oh man, so we're at the Shell station, dog, and this fool's like yakking it up." And next thing you know, this guy comes up to him and says, "Yo, what you call me?" And boom, he's on the ground. I get out of my car. He's looking. Everyone's going crazy. Like, what's going on?
But when if you're relaying a story, how often do you say exactly what the gas station was? You're like, I was at the Sarco.
I don't know if I was knocked
Yeah,
unconscious,
why
I
not?
would try to remember as much as possible.
You would?
I would. For something so embarrassing.
What,
Oh,
what
it's
kind of
not
car were you
embarrassing.
driving?
A
That's-
Camaro.
A Camaro.
with a rebel flag on the front. The douche of
With the
hazard.
Confederate flag.
Douche of hazard. That's what
Yeah,
we're gonna call
doors
this
didn't open. We
episode.
have to go in through the windows.
Well, do we have any questions from our audience?
No, Melody Martinez is, of course, chiming in and naming everybody and backing up the new racial slur that we learned.
Uh-huh. Please
and-
don't write it in the comment section. Please don't.
Well, too late.
Too
Right
late.
in.
Yeah.
No, it's
Well,
not bad. It's not bad. Paisa just literally means a
That's
person
what-
who can't
Oh, is that-
speak English. It's not a horrible thing. It's
Okay.
not. It's
Yeah.
just
But
like
if you're
a little
very
slang.
Americanized, you might take offense to it.
Maybe. Yeah. Like, I wouldn't get offended if somebody called me Paisa. It's like saying brownie or some stuff. Yeah.
I've been called Paisa by Latino people.
Really?
Well, after I robbed them, yeah.
Okay.
Well, he and Leah both think that this is true. Leah said that the tone is very sincere.
Okay.
Genuine.
Okay. Well, let's move on to your story,
I think
Jason.
he's lying because he's covering his mouth while he's talking.
Oh, I'm sorry. Melody said that the
Interesting.
tone was
Yeah.
sincere.
All right, your story.
My story.
Uh-huh.
Actually, the first one takes place here at the Comedy Store.
We love those.
So approximately maybe 4 or 5 years ago, on Halloween, I was sitting on the patio of the Comedy Store, and can I get a little more mic in my ear? A little bit? It seems a little faint. And so I'm sitting on the patio, and I see this beautiful girl sitting by herself
Yes, I was there.
for
Alone again.
Well, story of my life, Jerry.
Can you smell the sauerkraut?
Yeah.
Sauerkraut is the stripper I ate out about an hour ago.
Oh, nice.
What a name.
No, that's not the worst part. She shits. Anyway, I'll get to that later. So Halloween, here maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, I'm sitting in the patio. I see this lovely girl.
Were you dressed up or just dressed like normal?
There's no dressing up
I know.
at
Oh,
my
yeah.
house. I have a suit for court.
Well, I meant like Halloween.
Halloween, get a costume.
Every day is Halloween for me.
Fair enough.
So there's no dressing up.
Okay. Was she dressed up?
She looked great. She wasn't in a Halloween thing. She was like, that's why I'm looking at her. I'm like, why is this girl all by herself? Like she's clearly very well put together, beautiful, and which is always suspect. There's something maybe I'm not picking up on. And anyway, my lack of better judgment and just not navigating the way I should have, I asked her out.
Uh-huh.
Actually, Sam Tripoli came up to us when we started talking and goes, I'd pay good money to see you two fuck.
Oh, he always knows how to warm things up.
Isn't that
Yeah.
rude? So I've got $10 of Sam's money. Anyway. So so October, I knew there were some issues as we started dating, and I was a little hesitant because she had a young child, and I didn't really want to be part of a family.
So how long were you dating at this point?
We started in October. Well, we met Halloween,
Uh-huh.
and we were done by Valentine's Day.
Okay. Perfect for the all the holidays and then
Yeah.
settle it, right?
That's usually the kind of time frame where.
Had you met her kid?
Yeah. Oh yeah,
Yeah.
we spent a lot of time together over
That was
those
pretty
few
early
months.
on. For do you introduce women to your?
No, not at all. They don't
Right?
even know their mom. Very well.
Yeah, no, I met. Yeah.
All right, so let's move on. So,
yeah,
okay.
so I'm just because it's very.
You're a
jarring.
horrible liar, by the
I
way.
know this is you're fucking like the worst liar here already.
So we date, and then by December, there's some
Uh-huh.
problems,
Yeah.
and I could tell that she'd had some sort of trauma in her life. She had slash marks from her wrist up to her.
And she was dating you. That's apparent.
That doesn't help.
They all were thinking it. You didn't have
Aw.
to say that.
Aw.
No, yeah, she's totally fucked. That's why she came towards me. Anyway, so I had, there's some checklists of people that I've dated, a lot of troubled individuals, and usually somebody that has cuts or trying to escape something that's more traumatic.
All right, so what's
internally.
she trying to escape? Let's get to that story.
Well, so in February, so we had problems. Things started to kind of escalate around December, and I'm kind of like, I think this is kind of doing its death rattle.
Uh-huh.
I feel like he's like admitting to a murder right now.
I know.
right?
It's like a confession. It's like a confession.
Yeah.
I just keep the skin. I don't know what they do with the rest of it. And so she comes home one day and tells me that her therapist is going to give us a Valentine's Day gift and do couples therapy.
Uh-huh.
And it's kind of like a thready kind of thing, like we're going to find some blame here in this situation. And I'm all for any kind of enlightenment or anything that's going to improve my quality of life. So I said, no problem. I'll go do this therapy session. I'd like to have some clarity. And so we go, we sit.
Well, like,
We
I
would
just
like
told
some
you
clarity.
to hustle on this story, and you're not hustling. So
Okay, I'll move it up. So
The audience is already convinced you're lying. They
I
are
told you,
I mean,
like,
come on.
Send him the rules because I say 2 to 3 minutes.
I said,
Oh,
yeah,
okay.
yeah,
Sorry.
yeah,
Okay,
yeah,
I'll pick it up. I'm wondering because it's all flooding back.
okay.
So,
I want to do therapy now with you. Shit.
it's
flooding back or it's lazy
Clockwork
rivering
Orange.
back.
First signs of dementia going on here.
It's crazy.
Okay.
So we, she gets very argumentative and combative in front of her child,
Oh, okay.
which
that's
was,
not good.
wow, it's just like, I'm not interested in leaving any kind of impression in this negative situation in this poor child. So I leave and tell her that it's done. I can't deal with this anymore. And oddly enough, that day, a young comedian from my hometown, I invited him from Canada to come and stay on my couch for a week and do some comedy. Come over to Hollywood, check it out. Out. Did you hear it? Out. So I go. He gets to my house. We set up the phone. I have a casual conversation with him. She shows up at my house drunk. Drove to my house, pounding on my door.
Okay.
Now, I lived in Echo Park at the time, which is hipsters and Latino, and now I've got this 6 foot.
No, we understand why you get called that.
This beautiful 6'1" black chick with huge tits, dressed up, drunk, banging on my door, and my neighbors are starting to look. It's one of those houses that are kind of like a courtyard, so there's a sidewalk in the middle. Anyway, the neighbors are kind of like, what the fuck? She's pounding. I tell this kid who's staying on my couch, I go, listen, I got to go deal with this at the door. You stay and watch everything. I need an eyewitness here. Because this is out of hand. She's drove here drunk. She's left her kid with her daddy's whatever. And now I'm debating whether or not I'm going to have to be in a knife fight with this.
So do you open the door?
I open the door and I go, you got 30 seconds to explain yourself. And that's it.
She's like, if you would only done that, I wouldn't be this mad.
I knew you bitches would turn on me. I open the door. I go, 30 seconds. She's sobbing, crying. I go, I'm not dealing with this shit. I close the door again. She's pounding away on the door. I'm like, I tell my buddy, I go, listen, I'm pushing through the door and I'm leaving. I'm going to lead her away from the house. I'm going to call you. You meet me at the bar around the corner. We can get the fuck out of here. So as I come through the door, open the door, she attacks me. And now I've got her by the shoulders and trying to keep, she's got long nails and she's trying to reach for my face. So I look at him. I'm like, you fucking watch this. He's like, he's freaking out. He's in Hollywood for like 2 hours. And now he's watching me fight this fucking.
See an open micer?
Yeah.
Even better, even better.
Welcome to the jungle, motherfucker. So I'm wrestling with her. And I just pull my hands out. I go, listen, get the fuck out of my house or call the cops. She knew I wasn't going to call the cops. So she starts to panic and takes out her car keys and starts to drag them down her face.
No.
Like this, raking her face. She's in healthcare for, like, her skin was immaculate, like, highly manicured. And now she's raking this piece of copper down her fucking face. And I'm just like, and I'm looking at Izzy is his name, the kid behind me. He's just freaking out right now. And I'm making sure that he's an eyewitness because this might have to.
Right.
You're scarring him.
And now
You're scarring two
she's
people at the same time.
Because I was going to say that. 2 people are being scarred.
So now I'm scanning the house for weapons that she might pick up and fucking put a pair of scissors in my neck or something. And she notices I'm kind of looking around. She grabs a lighter and holds out her arm and starts fucking cooking her arm and screaming at me.
With the kid in
The
the
lighter.
corner watching.
No, the child wasn't there. The open micer was
No, that's
there.
what I'm saying.
Yeah,
The kid in the corner, yeah.
He's there, and I'm like, what the fuck? So now I push past her and start running down the street. She's in good shape, and I was a heavy smoker at the time. And this big titted bitch is fucking running down the street, and I'm running. And I start laughing. I go, I'm in my fucking 40s, and now I'm running from this woman. And I run, and I go, I take
With
a hard
$10 of Sam Tripoli's money in your pocket.
right? And I couldn't come because Sam was jacking off. Anyway.
What?
No. So I run up the hill because I knew if I ran in a straight that she was eventually going to gain on me. So I took a hard left, run up this hill, and I'm squatting in the bushes up behind my house with my phone in my hand, calling this kid. I'm like, meet me at this bar down the street. And I maneuver away, go to the bar. I call him, and I'm like, where are you? And how come you're not running? Like, he goes, she won't leave me alone. She's following me. I'm like, well, don't come here. Meet me around the corner. So he finally shakes her. I had called her a friend of hers that I'd met and said, look, she's in bad state right now. You need to come and
Uh-huh.
do this. And he was very flippant, like, it's not my fucking problem, blah, blah, blah. And, yeah, that was it.
Huh. So let me ask you this.
I see why we started like right on.
Yeah, I
into
know.
the
I know.
story.
Yeah, I know. Remember
I get
when you were like, "How's it gonna be
Yeah,
an
yeah.
hour?" Well,
Yeah.
sometimes it's an hour and a half.
Yeah.
So let me ask you this question. So as she was running, if she had scraped her face, was her face all bloody?
No,
Yeah.
it wasn't bleeding. It was just she
Scratched.
just scratched it.
Scratch.
You know, end of a key is not really that
Yeah.
pointy, but you can get a good gouge.
Right.
Like you could see the
Yeah.
gouges.
Like
but
when a
she was
cat
not
scratches
bleeding.
you.
Yeah.
But she had burnt her arm to shit.
She did burn her arm, yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
I
But
love the
her
best.
one of her arms from like here to here was like deep, all the way down. I think both sides, but I know for sure one. It looked like lasagna.
Well, that's very descriptive.
I love the best
Oh,
part of
that's
that
because she
story.
used to get fucked by her father.
Okay.
That's what I found out.
Well, I was gonna say the best part of that story. Before you said that, no, the best part of that for me was that you didn't mind if she came to your house and had all that drama, but as soon as she
Oh, I
was,
didn't know she'd come. She
but I
just
mean,
showed up.
but she did, and you were like, okay, this sucks, but whatever. But as soon as they were like, she's gonna come to the bar, you were like, fuck, don't bring her here. I don't want to ruin my reputation at the bar.
Oh, I didn't even go to that bar. I just knew it was close to enough to my house that this new kid to L.A.
Would
could
find it.
around. I could walk down Sunset and just turn to the right.
Do we have any questions from the audience?
A lot of skepticism on
From the get from Halloween, it went downhill.
Halloween to Valentine's Day.
It's 5:02. He started the story at 4:51, and I know that because immediately Melody said that he already caught him lying because of the audio fixation. Can you get a little more mic in my ear? He said that's a nervous tick.
Uh-huh.
And so he's been
Oh.
keeping an eye on that.
Okay.
Ken Lofgren, who said he was a fan of your Legion of Skanks episode, by the way, said he is skeptical because of the adding Sam Tripoli's $10 comment, and said it was like an unnecessary detail that felt like
Yeah, but I mean, he's also a
joke.
comedian
a
and
joke,
joking
comedian,
around.
but he said it
and,
felt
but
a
I
little
mean,
distracting as well.
yeah,
Is kind of what
yeah,
he was getting at.
yeah.
So yeah, Leah thinks it's a lie. They're all pretty much on board that this is a lie.
Okay. Wow. Any questions for you, Michael, in the back?
I'm not picking out immediately any reasons to think it's a lie. It's just kind of a crazy and sad story. Like, I mean, you know what I
Right.
mean? There
I'm
wouldn't be a-
right here. I can hear you.
You said she was black, right? I think usually that's white women.
Yeah.
What was she for Halloween?
Just a hot chick.
Just a hot
Yeah,
chick
she
for
wasn't
Halloween.
wearing.
Yeah.
She wasn't. She was just dressed up.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
I just don't know a lot of
How old was she?
women of color that, personally that
Yeah.
self-harm as much. I'm
I
sure it happens.
Provoke that in any relationship.
That's
There's a
probably
lot of-
true.
You're an enabler. Enabler.
I whisper
Are-
under the door while they're sleeping. Kill yourself.
Are people like, if you don't hurry up this story, I'm gonna take myself out. Okay.
Well, let's move on to our.
Holy shit! I forgot my story.
I know.
That's not even the weird one.
We'll make that other weirder one faster. Okay, so
My second story. It was also another night of drinking, and this time was without my best friend Trinell. I was on my own. I was coming from a show. I was at a show in East LA, bar show, and I was coming back from. I had a lot to drink, and that day, obviously, no one condones drinking and driving, but that day, I drank and drove, and drove, drank and drove, drank and drove, drank and drove. I had-
God damn it, you
I had
just-
yeah.
you just taught us
one
a,
day,
slacial,
this
a
is why-
racial slur.
This is why I failed my citizenship test. But so yeah, I was a long night of drinking at this bar show in East LA, and so I had shots, Jaeger, at all the works, and everyone asked me, "Why did you decide to drive? Why did you decide to get behind the wheel?" It was my dumb, but went outside to go take a piss because the bathroom was being used. As I went outside, I realized I'm very drunk. I do not want to go back in there and keep drinking. I need to get away from whatever situation I'm in at this point. So I remember stumbling to my car. I don't remember much else, but I do remember driving, turning the ignition and driving away. And the next thing I know, I wake up. I got in an accident, but I hit a parked car. Thankfully, I hit a parked car. It was so I was sent to jail. like as I should, and in Huntington Park. By the time I live in Huntington Park.
I love that all your stories, you're like, I got the shit kicked out of me. I went to jail as I should.
As I should. Very deserving. And I repent a lot. And and so now I'm close to home. I'm like 5 minutes away from home. I live in Huntington Park, so I got sent to jail in Huntington Park, little small jail. I'm there. It's Friday night. The worst part of the story is I was supposed to pick up my kids the next morning, which truly broke my heart. That Saturday morning, I was supposed to get my kids. So that night, I called my baby's mama and from jail, and I told her, hey, I won't be able to make it tomorrow morning. I'm in jail. I got a DUI. She's like, Jerry, I need you here. I have a wedding to be at tomorrow. I have no one to watch the kids. I need you here. Why would you fucking do this? And she's obviously giving me the whole bullshit. I need you to get out of jail. Get out. I go, I can't, man. There's like $100,000 fucking bond bail. There's no way I can leave. They're telling me I'm not going to see the judge till Tuesday. I'm stuck. I won't see the kids until Tuesday. I'm sorry at the earliest. I feel like shit. Really broken down by it. Go back to my cell. 1 hour later, I'm being bailed out by my baby's mama. My baby's mama bailed me out because she really needed a babysitter that weekend.
$100,000?
No, well, you don't give $100,000. You give a bond.
Yeah.
So she talked to a bondsman. They brought it down to $6,000. They paid to get me out.
She paid $6,000 to get you out of jail?
She had a good job. She's
That's an expensive fucking babysitter.
Mm-hmm.
She could have gotten a babysitter for $6,000.
Well, she did what she had to do, she said. And I had to pay her back. And I'm paying her back in payments.
True story. 100% true story.
Wait, is this recent? You said you're still paying her back?
Yeah, this happened in July.
Yeah, this feels true as shit now.
I know.
Yeah. Also, he said his dumb butt was drinking and driving, which is funny that he censored ass but not the N-word earlier.
Shit. I feel like I'm already in enough trouble, so now I'm just trying to win some of the audience back. I did catch myself doing that. Why did I say dumb butt? Anyways.
Wow. Well, what speaks to me as being truthful in that story is like if I especially when they have parties here and I'm a very I drink, but I'm like 2 drinks, that's it, I'm done, and I know sometimes the drinks get a little bit poured very nicely here, and so I ghost all the time because I'm like I gotta leave right now, so I can understand that sentiment and making a poor decision within.
We call that an Irish goodbye.
Is that what you?
What are you gonna say? Bye to anybody?
Yeah, you just.
Yeah, that's exactly what it did. Yeah.
Yeah.
Why it's called that? I don't know.
Yeah.
Just rude.
I didn't know that it was
$100,000.
$100,000 bail though. I didn't know that.
Because I hit a parked car.
Yeah.
When you were probably really drunk.
I was very drunk. 0.25.
Jesus, because I'm
not a big guy.
You're not a big guy. I have a son who's not very big, and I'm always telling him because I dated a gentleman that was 5'6". He had 1 glass of wine. And he got popped for DUI. Because he's
I'm
like
5'7", 135
size,
pounds.
but little, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But tight, but little, and it's like,
1 glass of wine.
Yeah, 1 glass of wine.
So
that's fucked up.
So the $100,000 that was for bail.
Yeah, that was bail.
What about like the money for the car that you?
That nightmare came afterwards.
Insurance and stuff like that.
That nightmare came later. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So, did you get your license revoked or?
Yes. 10 months.
10 months, and
Wait, you drove here today?
It's been more than 10 months.
You said July.
They only did it for 10 months.
Mm-hmm.
You didn't have to have anything on your car to blow in.
Yeah, I did for 5 months. Yeah, from
How
September.
much did you have to pay?
From September to March. Oh, here's a fun fact about the breathalyzer. You can apply for low income and get like a little fee waiver for a breathalyzer. Breathalyzer is very expensive. Just to install it is like $300, and then you're paying about $100 and something a month for a service.
To have it in your car.
To have it in your car. But if you fill out this form, you're saying, I mean, as a comedian, this is all I do now. Just hey, yo, I don't.
How much of a discount do they give you?
You only pay 25% of total cost.
Wow, because my power bill, you do the low income. And
yeah, I do the power bill too.
Yeah, but it only gets like $7, I think.
That's not bad. No, I get more than that, I'm saying.
Probably fine.
I get more than
related stuff. They're more lenient.
Yeah. But yeah, for people out there who need to get the breathalyzer, 25%. That's all you need to pay.
All right. Do we have any comments from our lovely YouTube audience?
Melody said, "Man, the Mexican guy from Ant-Man is tough to read."
Thank you.
Sorry.
Nah, he would have said the Paisa guy from Ant-Man. Then I would have been very disturbed.
You're Mexican?
Yes.
I thought you were Sri Lankan.
The fuck is that?
Exactly. Get a passport. Read a book.
Wow. Any other comments?
Ken says gut feeling this is a lie because the $100,000 seemed like a lot to him. Lee, on the other hand, said this sounds really true. Ken said it should have been $10,000. Then he would have definitely been a little bit more on the side. Melody said that he's brilliant if this is a lie and used the first story as the setup, but is still sticking with the first being the true one and this one being the lie for him.
Yeah, well, my question is this, like, so it was $100,000 because you hit the car. How much did you have to pay for lawyers' fees?
A lot, man. I'm still paying for that now, man.
Yeah, so how much altogether?
Dude, to be honest with you, over $30,000. DUI classes are a fucking bitch, too.
Yeah, how much are those?
I had to do 9 months of that.
9 months
Yeah,
of DUI?
I had to do community service, which you got to pay for as well. You got to go
Uh-huh.
to the morgue, which is another amazing experience what I recommend everybody do. Go to the...
Can I come?
You have to you have to be court ordered to go to
Wow.
a DUI,
But
to a morgue.
My question is, condom or no condom?
It's a necrophilia joke.
Yeah.
Call
Let
it
me
what you
ask
want.
you-
There's a group for us, and it's not. That's our N-word, by the way.
Oh, sorry. Hey, don't pin any
The other
N-words on
question
joke
is,
yet.
how old are your kids?
My kids are 12, 11, and 4.
Mm.
Got 3 boys.
Um,
And 12 and 11 were the ones I was supposed to pick up.
All right.
Melody thinks that he said September to March, but said 5 months for the in-car item, and thinks that's where he caught in the lie. I'm a little confused because I don't.
Yeah, my timeline might be a little messed up, but it is 5 months of that much. It felt like, yeah, I think it's about right.
And Ken wants to know, did you have any previous DUIs? Because
My first one.
he said that hitting a parked car should have he should have had more DUIs for the bail to be that high. It would be like
Right.
a recurring offense as well.
The reason it was so high, the reason it was very high is because I hit a parked car, did a lot of damage to that car, and that was my .25 messed me up, and the district attorney just came down hard on me, and they wanted to put it as a felony. That's why.
See, I have no doubt that you know somebody that this has happened to, and you might be pulling
Sharing
that
their
He
story.
information.
bailed his baby mama out.
Right. Ooh, you are a single father, you say.
Yeah,
So
But
you
then-
have custody.
split custody, 50%. Yeah, half and half.
50%?
Yeah, every other weekend.
So then that
That's
means
not
if this
50%.
No,
story,
but plus the weeks.
so
plus the
that
weekdays.
means if this story is true, then the other story is a lie, and he's just throwing around the N word.
did.
That was my excuse to use the N-word
Yeah.
here today.
He did say it here today.
He did, yeah.
I know.
Let's just
I
isolate
didn't
that,
say
put it on
that.
a loop.
First of all, I want to say I did not. I want to clarify. I did not use the N-word here today. I said N-I-G-G-Y.
No,
There's
but
no
you did
why.
whisper.
You didn't mean A?
Like I said Miggy. I said Miggy with an N. Miggy with an N. That's what I said.
We'll listen to the playback. Whatever.
Oh my God.
Liar.
Okay.
Look, he's lying again, everybody.
All right. So, did you have a question, Michael Evans?
I had a bunch. I had a bunch of input and questions, and now I'm all the way lost again.
Right.
I don't know if maybe it's like, because imagine the first story's not true. That would make sense. Like, you know, he censored ass a little bit. Maybe he doesn't say that word at all. Maybe this was really him hanging it out to try and get us to think.
Right.
You
Bold
know?
move.
Yeah.
Also, did I hear someone say you can get your power bill lowered because you're poor?
Yes.
Yeah, but it's not much. I'm saying, yeah, I only save like $7.
All right, cool. We're gonna talk about that later.
Okay.
Do what I do. Move into a van. That really lowers your power bill.
Yeah.
I feel like the second story. The second story feels so real to me.
Yeah.
Because it's a lot to discuss.
Yeah.
And his character so far, it just doesn't seem like the kind of guy that, I don't know, maybe he blacks out and hits dudes or just calls them the
Right.
wrong
What
name.
kind of car did you hit?
That was a semi.
You hit a semi? You didn't offer that information, but you'll tell us about the Shell station?
You just happen to hit a sitting semi.
Yeah.
Okay. This is where the story falls apart.
What? You had to say that. You just said parked car. Now all of a sudden it's a semi.
I don't remember much about the accident itself, to be honest with you. I do not.
Semi.
I remember just coming to, and I was backseat of a car, of a patrol car.
If I wouldn't have asked, you would have never told us that it was a semi.
I don't think that really matters.
It was
I think
a
it's
parked semi?
Yes, park semi.
Where was it parked?
Literally on the side of the street.
In East LA.
Huntington Park. Right there. On Atlantic Boulevard.
We're moving on to
Off the 710 freeway, Atlantic
There's a lot of
Boulevard.
industrial over there.
You ever been to
Oh,
Ray's
I could-
Barbecue?
I could guess.
Yeah.
I
I live right by there, Santa Fe.
Love that
Santa
place.
Fe and Randolph.
I
yeah.
could see that being a semi over there.
Yeah,
though.
it's like- it's very
'cause
industrial.
it's a lot of
That's
industrial
industrial.
places.
But would you
offer
refer to
that-
it as a parked car if you knew it
No,
was a
but it
semi to
is a
begin with?
very industrial
Oh, I
area.
know.
Yeah.
But-
But would you call it a parked car?
Right, that's what I mean.
Either
Yeah.
you're lying or you're a P word.
That's
parked
strong
car?
language. Let's move on to your second story,
Pizza
please.
Pop. Like I said before,
Well, say it faster, sister.
I used to date a girl that used to make me wear her dead father's clothing and fuck her.
Oh, this is interesting. Continue.
I was really.
You know what would be genius if that was
Yeah.
just the story?
Hold on.
Period.
She used to call her asshole daddy's pussy.
Uh-huh.
You're gonna. I love.
I used to. Yeah.
I think you go.
I was again. There's all these messages that looking back to have an excessive amount of like her father had died, obviously, and she had photos all over the house and men's clothing in her closet. And I didn't understand what it was and how it was part of her life. And then I realized that the stuff was kind of old and dated. And then we got a little closer, and she started to explain some things to me. And yeah, that was weird. Fuck this girl in the ass because she missed her daddy.
Hey, sometimes you gotta do anything just to make the ugly pain go away.
Right?
You know what I mean?
I'm starting to have a little revelation. Am I the guy who makes the ugly pain go away? Am I
Or
worse?
you make. Well, it depends on what story's true because you were helping the other girl with the pain go away, and you were adding pain to the first girl.
So let
I
me.
never had pain to the first girl.
Yes, you did. She burnt herself. That's pain.
Yeah, but she came to me for that. I didn't go to her for that.
Let me ask you this: when you are going out with someone and having sex with them, are you into bondage? Are you into physical?
Look at me.
No, I don't. I don't know. That could mean anything, you know. No, I'm not. I'm just saying, like,
Yeah, a
I'm
lot
the
of people
serious
that look like
question,
you
yeah.
are very reserved in
yeah,
bed. Actually,
that's true. Very true. Like,
And
look at
usually-
Jessica.
Look at Jerry.
And look at me. We
Yeah.
haven't been laid in so
This
long.
guy's got shit on his chest over
Yeah.
here.
He's a huge freak.
Yeah.
But nobody would think.
no one
No,
think that.
and
Yeah.
I came when I lived in Europe. I used to frequent some clubs, and one of them was called Torture Garden.
Uh-huh.
Torture Garden is the largest, probably fetish.
Is this a third lie?
Pardon me?
Is this another lie? A third one?
No, this is
New
true.
story?
This is true.
Okay.
Okay, he's
But-
like, dear God, don't start a third story.
I go to places where people kind of live on the fringes of
Yeah.
sanity, and sometimes people come into your social circles that need
Now,
professional help.
with that club, can you just go in and watch? Because I'd do that.
You can, but it's you got to wear strict attire, like leather, uniforms, rubber, beautiful stuff. It's tg.com. You can look it up, and they had like high fashion stuff, and then like a room for couples. Like there's a full blown eyes wide shut orgy going on, like a lot of people. It was in an old church in Brixton.
I love that.
Yeah.
Yeah, you can check out their website. It was pretty outrageous. I got a blowjob on the dance floor while I watched a guy with no legs drink his boyfriend's piss.
Wow.
And you still manage to keep it erect?
Yeah.
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 You know what you're getting when you're going into a club like that?
Oh yeah, there's no planning.
How do you know? Have you ever been in a club like that?
No, but I would love to. We should go.
Yeah.
Actually,
yeah.
this Saturday, downtown Los Angeles,
He has a flyer for it now?
it's called Soft Leather. It's
Uh-huh.
not as you don't see in America. There's a lot of emphasis on sexual deviancy is like very repressed here
Yes.
in
Yeah, yeah,
comparison.
yeah.
Where a fetish night, you're gonna slip in a cum shot in Europe.
Well, let me ask you this. So when you're, and to bring you back to your story, when you're, the woman said that she called her butthole, daddy's pussy. Yeah.
Well, I was
How-
inside of her.
Yeah. So how long had you guys been dating? Was that right off the bat?
No,
Like
no,
first,
no.
like second time.
Because I'd been at her house, we probably maybe about 3 or 4 weeks, and
Oh,
I'd
yeah.
spent some time in her house, and you're kind of
Yeah.
looking around, going, okay, this is the makeup of somebody's psychology in some form.
Uh-huh.
Oh, they like this, they don't like that, and then there's like all these older male clothing. I thought, like, is she fucking around with me, or is she living with a guy or something?
Uh-huh.
And I asked her, and then it started to kind of couple of drinks, and then she just kind of revealed that this is her thing,
Yeah.
and not the worst of it, to say the least.
Okay. Did she call you daddy?
Did you look
I
like her
don't
dad?
think so. No, there was not a lot of dialogue.
You think you look like her dad? Maybe that's why she was.
No, I saw the pictures. I looked nothing like her.
So there wasn't a lot of dialogue. Just she would just
Well,
say,
after we discussed ground rules and stuff.
"What are the ground rules?" After someone shouts at you,
Well,
"Fuck my."
no, it didn't.
Daddy's
there was no
pussy harder.
Don't ruin this romantic story I'm telling you. There
You
was
have to
no
do the ground rules
shouting.
before it goes to that. You have to do that before anything happens.
Yeah.
I just
You
read.
gotta
And
have a safe
people-
word.
I find that most of the relationships, for whatever reason, maybe because of my onstage performance, people seem a little more open to show me things that they wouldn't.
Right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Which I'm grateful for. But sometimes it's somebody that needs, when suicide and self-abuse come into play, it's kind of takes the thrill out of it.
Right.
And people like
The
to show me
anxiety
their,
of it, of having somebody that might hang themselves. I had a couple girls hang themselves.
Damn.
people just like to show me their kids' pictures after my set.
You want to see a picture of my kid?
Like, yo, I'm a single dad too. Check it out.
Yeah, I know, but I seen your act and you hate your children. Fair fight.
I don't know about that fucking acting scene I just witnessed. Oh, the girl with her pussy that was her daddy's.
Can I say welcome back to our buddy Hostetter who said just tuning in and holy crap. Leah said people feel really safe with you guys. I've noticed we have had some
Wow,
we've had some intimate secrets shared
No,
in this room.
I can
walked
understand certain things what you're saying. And I'm totally teasing you, and thank you for coming here. I don't want you to think I'm just pounding on you and your slow storytelling
think you'd mind.
abilities. Okay.
Pound on me.
And your daddy's pussy.
Because I dated someone for about a year and a half that was into like tying me up and all that kind of stuff.
Oh,
and-
no. You
and
can't just leave it at tying you up.
Right.
That's very...
She's
just-
never had anybody touch her daddy's pussy.
Yeah, I've never. Yeah. But I'll be tied up. I'll give you that.
Yeah, but when you're tied up, you don't really have a say on what hole gets it.
Well, I mean, there. That's just the
Those
one.
ground rules.
That's ground
We're
rules.
definitely on the wrong parties.
No, but what I'm getting at is the thing that because we would do a lot of other stuff and it would get very physical, is that every time you go and have sex with that person, it has to escalate
Oh, it gets
just
deep,
a
deep,
little
deep, deep.
bit,
Yeah,
and
yeah.
just a little bit, and then all of a sudden you're like, "Fuck, dude, I'm not into that."
You're
Right.
wearing the other person's
Yeah.
skin and you can't come.
Yes. So.
Can I tell you about the first time I ever went to San Francisco?
Where was that?
San Francisco? Did it rob you of your ability to speak correctly?
Give it a little stroke.
I think a rice
San Francisco, Texas.
It's like right before the podcast, we were talking about the orbs that we've seen in this room. She says, "I think I see an orb in front of my eye right now." And no, it's a stroke that you're having, I think.
The first time I ever went there, I flew to Sacramento, and my friend took me. It was to the
The leather bar or something?
no, it was the whole festival,
Gay Pride?
the fetish and leather festival.
Okay, yeah.
And it was amazing. All these people getting spanked in the streets and stuff, and they had people dressed up as horses and leather and
Right.
just everything, right? And I remember there was this middle thing in the middle of the street, and everybody there was like 3 or 4 sections, and people were getting spanked in different ways.
Uh-huh.
I stood there for like 3 hours watching this, and my friend was like, "Can we go now?"
Yeah, but that,
Yeah,
that's...
I believe
Yeah, I'm
you.
sure
I
that's gonna-
100%.
That's gonna keep your attention for sure.
I know.
She's been back every
'Cause
year since.
When we went to New York together, and we were near the Statue of Liberty, and then some fellas with a young kid were doing backflips and doing all sorts of show, and I was like filming it,
yeah.
and then I was like, okay, all right, and then Jessica's like, "Can you just put the camera down and just enjoy this?" I'm like, no.
That's funny.
All right, so let's recap quickly, unless anybody has a question. Let's recap very quickly.
All right, starting with Jerry's story. Story 1, he's hanging out with one of his best black friends who has given him a pass to use the
And don't. Okay, say
the
the naughty.
N-word.
Okay.
Especially with that accent.
Yeah.
Well, I was going to say, I think my grandpa has that same pass, actually. I've heard him use it a couple of times. But he's passed out in a car at a Shell station and wakes up and then pukes. And some guy who he thought was his buddy said, "You okay?" And he said, "I'm puking N-word." Then he realized he messed up because it wasn't his buddy. So the guy busted his nose and knocked him out, but then rendered his medical aid by offering a wet rag. Story 2, he was at a show in East L.A. and had quite a bit to drink before leaving. He ended up hitting a parked car, which I wrote car because that's what he said, in Huntington Park and going to jail, as he should have. Then his baby mama bailed him out because she needed a babysitter, and he's still repaying her $100,000 for that. And then I added that he changed it from car to truck. So.
Wow. Was your is it ex-wife?
Yeah, ex-wife.
Was she married before?
No. What do you mean
Yeah.
married before?
No,
Married
we're
before me?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. All right.
We got married young. We were
Yeah.
married.
Okay. And do you have brothers?
Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like this is because I can't resolve that you would just make up a story about the N-word, although that would be genius, and tell that story. And so to me, this kind of sounds like it was that it is a true story, but it's not your story. Like I think it's either your brother or a brother-in-law or
The DUI story?
the DUI story. Yeah.
That's what I was kind of leaning towards. And I have to say, before this show, I really thought you were a really nice guy, Jerry.
Oh, he is nice. He learned
Jerry's
from
good.
his
I did learn from it.
debacles. Yeah, these are
Yeah.
learning stories.
These are things that I never would have thought I would hear Jerry say.
Yeah, no, I've learned my lesson. Now I only say behind closed doors when the Lakers are not covering the spread.
Fair enough.
What's a Laker?
Oh, I'm going to actually...
It's the name of my butthole.
But
Like,
because
is there
that
sand
second
around the
story
outside?
sounds like somebody else's, I kind of think the first story is true. I think maybe he knew that. I think he knew what he was doing.
Huh.
I'm leaning toward the first story being true because you added this stuff that was crazy after the fact, like the semi. I think that was just like a try to get us off the scent or something. I don't know. I don't know. I'm gonna go with the first story.
Wow, I
You
know
think the first
it's
story is true?
Yeah.
it's like a moral debacle to pick which story is true. I feel like, in a
Yeah.
sense, yeah. What do you think, Michael?
I don't know. Which is worse? Like the moral debacle. Which is worse? Which is worse? You think to say live? That which one would you rather
because
not own?
your kids, are at the age where they would Google stuff, especially your older kids. So it's like, does your dad really get a pass, or is he drunk? You know what I mean? That's what the moral debacle,
What
the
about
moral choices in the stories. Like, don't you think?
is
It's
$6,000
kinda-
accurate? Do you think $6,000 is what it would take on a $100,000 bill?
Yeah, it's not even 10%.
Thank you.
I don't know anything about getting out of jail, really.
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, good point. So
I don't know. I think that if I got to decide now,
yes, we're deciding.
if
now.
I got to decide now, I think that the fucking second one's true.
Okay.
Wow.
Clearly, I'm not confident in this. I don't know, man.
I'm with this guy.
Well, so you think the second story is true too? You think it is? I think because you've done acting, right? You've been in a show. You were an actor in.
Very little acting.
Yeah.
Barely considered acting. I'm not SAG approved yet. Put it that way.
Yeah. It did feel like the second story had more heart in it when you told it. The second story, and you had so many facts right away at your fingertips.
I'm changing my mind.
Yeah. What are you gonna say now?
First story's a lie.
You think the first story is a lie?
I'm changing it.
Yeah. What about online?
So far, it seems like everybody pretty much thinks that his first story is true.
Yeah, I think the first story is true.
I'm kind of leaning the same way that the first
Yeah.
story is true.
Michael, you said the first story is true?
Yeah, I think I think the second story is
The
true.
second story is true.
I'm with Michael.
To quote Ken
Okay.
Lofgren, $6,000 is horseshit on a $100,000 bail.
Yeah, I think the
Oh wait, I forgot about that. I brought that up and I forgot about that. I don't.
I know it's a lot to think about. No,
There's
it's a
a
lot to think
a
about.
lot
though.
of
Yeah,
details
yeah,
here.
yeah.
I don't know. They both feel kind of like something that could really
All right.
happen.
So who thinks the first story is the lie? You think the first
wait,
story
no.
is the lie?
I
No, I
think the
think
first
the first one's
story
true.
is a lie, and only because I'm stuck on the Shell station.
Okay.
And that he didn't really know where he was at. Geographically, he's just like, I just remember the yellow gas station.
I thought when he said yellow gas station, it was another racist slur. Some Asian guy working behind the counter.
No. I'm like, no, I just answer seriously. No.
You do have children. I can tell. Is that what you're doing with your time?
Quiet time.
Good luck.
Quiet.
Okay. I think the first story is, I'm going to say the first story is true. And most of the people online and Austin also think the first story is true, but everyone else thinks the second story is true. All right. Which story is the lie?
The lie is the DUI story.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it!
I had a DUI, but not like that.
Yeah,
It's just
yeah,
a regular,
yeah,
boring DUI.
yes,
Got pulled over and
Ken
got taken
Lofgren,
in.
Yes, yes.
Semi truck thing.
The second
Yes,
one was a
Michael.
lie?
The second one was a lie. Yeah, yeah.
Just normal, boring
yeah,
one.
Yeah.
Damn
Yeah.
it!
That's why I know so much info about DUI, because I do have it. And I did get a DUI July 20th, but I just got pulled over and taken in. I've been paying for that shit since.
That damn semi truck. I probably would have.
Yeah.
I know. I should have known.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on quickly to your two stories. Please give the quick recap.
All right, Jason's first story. Roughly 4 or 5 years ago, he's on the Comedy Store patio one Halloween. He sees a lovely girl and decides to ask her out after Sam Tripoli offered to pay and watch them have sex. They dated until February, but he dumped her because of her kid. Then a young Canadian boy came to stay on his couch when the rapping at the door revealed his drunk ex. They struggled at the door for a moment. She attacked him, then freaks. He lured her out. She scarred her face with some copper keys and cooked her arm with a Bic lighter.
Are you listening to this stuff?
I'm keeping up with stuff online.
Yeah.
Did he say that he left her because of? Maybe I
Oh,
missed it.
no. I think he's
he's
rounded it
pretty
up
right.
nicely.
I think
Yeah,
he
so
checked
yeah,
out for like
yeah.
8 minutes and then came
You
back into the
liked her
story.
because of the kid?
Yes, initially, and then the drama showed up at my front door.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I saw
Are
what
you
was-
listening to the story?
Yes.
Jessica? Take your aggression and shove it up your daddy hole or whatever the hell it was called.
Daddy
wow.
pussy.
Daddy
Let's
pussy.
keep in mind
It's
that
daddy's
Jessica is one of
pussy.
the bosses. Okay, so
All right. So, story 2, he was dating a girl who made him wear his dead father's her dead father's clothing. She had pictures of him everywhere. Was pretty obsessed, and that's why she liked to have sex with him.
So you would put his clothing on and have sex with her.
Mhm.
Yeah. How many times did you do that?
Oh, a lot of times.
Did you ever find anything in his pockets?
No.
Do you still use some of that clothes?
Everything was like she'd wash them, and it were all. That's what I mean. It was all like nicely, like hung, like it was like like a keepsake.
Yeah.
But who keeps like clothing?
I can understand that. I have my mother's glasses.
Yeah, but that's one thing.
Yeah,
it's
there
not
was, like,
it's
I have
several.
3 pair.
Only like about 4 or 5 different.
And what was her
types.
dad's fashion? Was it like the Fonz? type of
No,
shit?
it wasn't-
it was-
Was
you
it
know,
60s?
it
Was
was-
it 60s tie-dye?
I imagine the suit. I imagine the suit.
Saturday Night Fever.
Yeah, he was, collared shirts and just white guy corporate shit.
So did you have to keep the pants up as you had sex, or could you put them at your
No,
ankles?
I'd have to leave the room and come back dressed.
But when as you're having sex with her, can you take and put the pants to your ankles?
I'd
Or
get
can you take
naked.
'em
It
all-
was
you
just
could
this-
get naked.
Yeah.
The
yeah,
foreplay.
You had to start with the.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Wow, that is so creepy.
Yeah, your range of
Oh,
motion,
that's
your range of
nothing.
motion in a suit jacket is so limited. It would just be tough.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be.
Be really tough.
Yeah.
to
But
fuck.
she might have liked that.
Maybe.
If you cut the crotch out of a Spider-Man costume, you can fuck anything. Are we live?
I had to imagine that.
All right. So, well, what do you think, Jessica? That's I'm going to say the first one's a lie.
I think that he is into crazy stuff, and I've been wrong a lot lately, but I'm going to say that the first story is true because he also gave the information, oh, it's this beautiful black chick with big boobs. I think he wanted us to think she had her shit together or something, and then I don't know. I don't know why I'm thinking what I'm thinking, but I think
Very
I think the second one's a lie. Second one is a lie.
What do you think?
I
Jared?
want to. They're both
just
very
wanna-
disturbing stories. so
I
I'm hoping both are lies.
hope both
Yeah.
are lies.
Cause man, dog, I think the second one is a lie for me. Cause I'm hoping there's no women out there that trying to get fucked with their daddy's clothes on, dog.
Check my address book.
Oh,
They're all in
man.
there.
Oh, now I'm going to say the second one is a lie.
Yeah.
I think the second one's true. That sounds like a realistic kink to me.
It does sound
It
like
does,
a realistic
yeah.
kink.
Like
yeah.
whereas I don't know, just too foggy on that first one. You said about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know. The first one just sounds like a wild sequence of events, whereas the second one seems like he's really describing something that a specific like kinky chick could be into.
One thing
It's not unreasonable to me.
one
People
thing-
are fucking strange, man.
Yeah.
One-
And why wouldn't you call? I'm so sorry,
That's
Austin.
okay.
Go ahead. Go ahead.
I'll try again. One thing I noted on that was he was sitting on the patio when he got here for a while, and it seemed like if I was going to make up a story, I would be like, let's see, I'm sitting on a patio. Well, I'm sitting on a patio in the story,
Yeah.
and it was a very
Is that-
spinned yop after
Is that guy you brought, the Canadian open micer?
That's my little brother.
Oh, that's your little brother. That's
he's,
right.
He's not even. He's seen everything.
Well, the second one doesn't seem like that much of a stretch, really. I mean, if you wanna go
Stretch,
to
I
that-
get it. Her asshole. Don't be rude to my ex-dead wife.
But if you like to be called daddy, or you like to call
That's
my
the
daddy
thing.
in
There was
bed,
none of that daddy stuff. It was
Really?
the costume shit. That's what the fucked up part was. It's to call you
I
daddy.
think the
slap
second
your
one's
ass.
a lie, though.
No, you
Not-
did.
I do
You
think
did
somebody could be
reference
into that, though.
Yeah, you did reference that she liked to be called her daddy's pussy.
Yeah, not during sex. That was done in the conversation leading up to the. What do you call it?
Oh, this wasn't
role-playing.
during sex?
No, there was very little conversation. She just kind of laid out the ground rules of what she liked.
Uh-huh.
And then I wasn't into creating. I didn't want to go any deeper than me coming. I didn't want to create a narrative with somebody and then they become,
Yeah.
So you guys don't have these problems?
Okay. Now I'm going to say...
First
I'm gonna
world
say,
problems.
yeah, right, yeah. Yes, exactly.
That's the name of it.
All right, I'm gonna switch I think I'm switching my answer because now I'm gonna say the second story is true. I'm gonna say the second story is true.
Okay, I'm staying.
All right.
Yeah, my vote's in as second story is true.
Okay. Anybody online saying anything there?
Yeah, we've they actually I think are all pretty much aligned that the first story is a lie,
Okay.
and I'm with them.
All right. So which story is the lie?
Second one.
Yes! Finally! Finally!
Jessica's been on a losing streak.
Yes! Thank you, Daddy!
Okay.
Where's your dad's closet? I want to show you something. Make sure you take a shit and make room for my cock.
All right.
My lady.
Okay.
Sorry, daughter.
What a strange and cool podcast this has been. I want to thank.
You're the only one who knew.
Yeah, you
Comes
did
in,
know that. I know.
You guys
I know.
bringing spiders to the playground again? What the fuck?
I do want to say thank you guys, as always, for playing along. We certainly appreciate that you guys have taken out time out of your day to play along on YouTube, and we appreciate that you guys, because I know on a Monday it's hard to get down here at the store
This has
on
been
Sunset.
so much fun.
Thank
Hell
you
yeah, this
is
so
dope,
man.
much, and thank you for letting us tease you about all that, because
Dead
that was
inside.
no, those were really hard stories to figure out which one is a
Yeah,
lie.
you guys did really good.
Yeah,
This was fun. This is
Because
hella
they
fun.
both played the opposite, too. It was good.
yeah, it was
What a
really
great
good.
contrast.
Hell yeah, big boy. Can I plug real quick my HBO special?
Yeah, please.
Yes.
It's not my weekend. 30-minute special. HBO Latino. It's HBO Go, HBO Now. All that shit right now.
Yes,
That's
please. Jerry
killer.
is hilarious.
Thank you,
Jerry's
brother.
very funny
Thank you,
fella.
thank you so
Very,
much.
very.
Yeah,
Please
yeah.
check
Thank
that
you.
out. Anything else that people should know? Where can they follow you? What's your Twitter? All that.
Comedian Jerry G is the easiest way on all social media. Comedian Jerry
Uh-huh.
G on Instagram and Twitter, all that shit.
Wow.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Comedian Jerry G.
Awesome, and congratulations on that.
Thank you, guys.
You're
Yeah,
very,
that's
very
great.
welcome.
Thanks for
Well
having
deserved. Well deserved.
Very
And you?
cool.
Where can people follow you?
On the next episode of Catch a Predator.
Okay.
But I'll be following them.
Uh-huh.
I'm at the Laugh Factory on Friday, and then actually I have a plug.
Okay. Okay.
We know you got plenty of plugs.
I'm doing the July 1st, doing the Canada Day show here at the Comedy Store.
Oh,
Nice.
wonderful.
Yeah.
Wonderful. Wonderful.
Russell Peters was going to be on it, but he's in the new Clifford movie. He's playing
Yeah.
a magician.
Oh, wow.
Clifford
But,
the dog?
Yeah.
No, okay.
Yeah, there's a
Yeah,
parent
awesome.
Dope.
Awesome.
Yeah,
Yeah,
no
yeah.
shit.
But here, and then I start my second leg of No Gods, No Masters tour, 8 weeks in Canada. So it's like Toronto, Ottawa, and all the shit. But JasonRouse.com, Jason Rouse 666 for all the other horse shit.
Okay, wonderful. And you can follow Austin. What's your Twitter?
At the Austin Walker, and then our Instagram's the Liars Club 1, and our Twitter is liars_club.
And what about you, Michael?
You can follow me on Instagram at High5Michael, HIGHFIVE Michael. I don't tweet, but I'm tired of saying that, so maybe I'll start again, and then you can follow me there.
There you go. And you can follow me all across the board at Felicia Michaels. Once again, thank you so much for joining us and playing along. Is there anything you would like to tell about our Liars Club upcoming dates that we have going on?
Sure, we're at the Ice House every second Friday of the month, so please look out for that. We're also going to be at the Comedy Store. We're going to do our first live Liars Club here in the Belly Room. Check that out.
What day is that?
It's July 31st.
Cool.
So
Yeah.
I hope that's right. Yes.
I think
it's a
you're right.
Wednesday.
It's a Tuesday.
No, it's July 31st because July 31st I'm in Arizona. It's a Wednesday.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay.
It's
Anyway,
Tuesdays that week.
okay. It's Tuesday, end of July.
Tuesday, probably the 30th or what?
Yeah, yes.
Are you sure?
No,
look
I'm pretty
look
damn
at
sure.
it, Austin.
Okay, anyway, continue.
Look at my thing.
July 31st is a Wednesday.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn it. Look
Yeah.
at the 30th.
Yes.
Club Comedy
Fuck.
Store.
All right, it's July 30th.
Yeah.
You
Plug
hate
up.
being wrong.
I do.
I get it.
Yeah, I'm headlining CB Live July 31st. That's how Wednesday. That's how I
Okay.
knew that.
Thank you
Thank
for
you.
correcting me. I appreciate that.
Yeah, I'll give you $20 later.
Yeah, just check us out. Follow us on YouTube. Follow us on our social media. You'll see where we're at. Thank you, guys. Follow me
Thank
at
you.
Jess Wellington 2 on everything. And you have been lied to.
Leah was so excited to hear you say that.
Aww.